Last weekend, Mrs. Disgruntled and I had a day out visiting our tattooist. The studio is a couple of hours' drive each way, and although there are plenty of tattoo parlours near where we live, I've been going to the same guy for years. I like him, I like his work, and I know what to expect. And as he's moved closer to where he lives, we've just driven a little further. In fact, my logo, Disgruntled Danny, it was Andy who designed that. My missus, keeping it classy, had 9 new tattoos in one sitting, whereas I had a small one on my right arm and some infill work done. Although thinking about it, for this clip I really should be holding the camera in my left hand. Maybe not. I'm at that stage of healing where everything's got a bit flaky, like I've got leprosy. So if you want to frame me for a murder, for the next few days just follow me and gather up my DNA. But for me, having a tattoo is something you should be sure about, because once it's on for life. Unless you get it covered up with another tattoo or have it lasered off, which does seem a waste of money. Anyway, that allows me to segue into a story that's in the news about a 19-year-old Australian woman who's had a very bad experience getting tattooed. Meet Tia Kalir. She's an influencer, and the way I understand the term influencer is someone who's very pretty with a large social media following but no discernible talent. Also, she's an OnlyFans model. There's a fucking shock. The OnlyFans thing? Well, people can earn a living however they want. But for me, and don't worry, I'm not on OnlyFans. I do not have the build for that platform. I don't think many people think of the long-term implications. Because once you've posted that video of you shoving a Magnum champagne bottle up your arsehole, it's out there forever. And research has shown that many OnlyFans models have trouble finding long-term partners. And I guess I can understand that, because if I were a younger single man, if I'd been on a few dates with a woman and she then revealed she used to be on OnlyFans, I don't know how comfortable I'd be. Knowing that when I introduced my new girlfriend to my friends and family, as well as everyone I've ever met or will ever meet, all of those people are 2 clicks away from seeing photos of her vag. I digress. Miss Kabir decided to get her dream tattoo whilst on holiday in Bali, and already for me, that's a red flag. I've never got any ink when I've been outside of the UK. Although last autumn when I was in Spain, there was a tattooist who came out and said, "Oh, you're English, I'll do you a great deal." But I turned it down for 2 reasons. First of all, if I had a new tattoo, I couldn't sit in the sunshine or go swimming in the pool, which sort of defeats the fucking object of being in the Costa del Sol. And secondly, I have no idea on what the health and hygiene regulations are in Spain. They may be just as good as the UK, even better, but I wouldn't take the risk. But for Miss Kabir, there was another hurdle she hadn't considered. And that's the language barrier. So as an Englishman, unsurprisingly, my first, and if I'm honest, only language is English. And this allows me to be very lucky in as much that I can be very lazy. And don't get me wrong, I've tried learning bits of French, Spanish, Italian, even Swedish. But when I go abroad, I know the second I open my mouth to say something in the local dialect, the natives will immediately switch to speaking English. However, I'm guessing that maybe when Tia was planning her trip to Bali, being an Australian, so also being an English speaker, she may have thought the locals would also speak English. But in Bali, Balinese isn't even the main language, that's Indonesian. So it's Indonesian, Balinese, and then the locals, many of them, only speak enough English to sell crap to the tourists. Before I continue, I will point out though that when I went to Sweden, after months of learning how to speak Swedish, it transpires that every single Swedish person speaks better fucking English than I do. Therefore, if you, like our friend Tia, travel to a country to get a tattoo done in English, but in that country, English isn't the first or even the second language, the emphasis is on you to check the spelling and grammar. In the same way, I see a lot of people in the UK who have Chinese characters as tattoos, and they all claim to know what they mean. It's always something like, it reads strength through endurance. How do they know? As far as they're aware, their tattooist has put on them in Cantonese, "I fuck goats." So, the tattoo that Tia had been dreaming of was just 2 words, angel energy. She arrived at the tattoo studio, but the transfer was the wrong size. So things got messed about with, and somehow the words got reversed. So now, instead of angel energy, it read energy angel. And that's what she got tattooed, and didn't notice until after the process was over. I don't know what goes on in Bali, but I've never heard of a tattoo parlour where the customer walks through the front door, the receptionist then asks, "What would you like done?" and before the customer has finished their description, an artist has pinned them to a chair and has started freehanding. We know that transfers were involved, so Tia would have seen what she was getting done. If you've not had this done before, if you're getting a tattoo somewhere where you can't see what it'll look like just from your line of sight, there will be mirrors. The artist will be very sure to make sure that you're happy before they start doing their work. But the thing is, this tattoo was on her fucking forearm. She would have seen the entire process. After it was finished, Miss Kabir said that she cried, and she's now had it altered to read "Energy of an Angel," adding it's a monstrosity which she may have to get covered up with tattoos of angel wings. But this is where my inner cynic kicks in. She's an influencer, and those fuckers are always trying to get something for nothing. And the day after she'd had the tattoo done, she went back to the studio to try and get a refund, which was denied. So there we have it, a social media influencer throwing a strop because something happened which she could have easily stopped. And I'll end this video for the benefit of people with and without tattoos, because if you've been inked up, all of us get asked the same question, and it's this: does it hurt? And for anyone who hasn't had a tattoo, the answer is very simple: of course it fucking hurts. Have you not had an injection at the doctor's? Imagine someone doing that several thousand times a minute for as many hours as you can endure. As ever, thanks for watching.